Hey there, you looked bored, so I thought I'd give you this new game we made.
Whoa, it's a new game!
Hey there, kiddo, got another one of those Call of Duties you love so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the game.
Hey there, you looked a little disappointed with the last one, so I thought I'd spice this one up a little.
Whoa, it's a new game!
I have a question for you. Do you really think the setting of the next Call of Duty game is going to change anything? With a new game coming out every year, do you really expect that just having the game set in World War II is enough of a change to draw you back in? I've been thinking about this over the past few days, a dangerous pastime, I know, and I couldn't just help but wonder why people are getting so excited about the next Call of Duty going back to its roots. Let's be real here. Did the games really change that much? Sure, they were set in the future, but people didn't seem to have a problem with that, as Black Ops 3 stands as the best-selling Call of Duty game to date, proving that the backlash towards Infinite Warfare was unexpected, yet understandable. However, what fans are asking for now is essentially what they got back in the day over and over again, you know, when the community was getting fed up with getting the same game repackaged and resold to them. My best guess is that many people were younger when they played the earlier games back in the day and have just gotten tired of the core formula. It's much like when you listen to a song over and over again and you eventually burn out and end up hating it. Oversaturation has always been a problem for Call of Duty, but man, did Activision go hard with the franchise. Releasing a new game every year is ridiculous and seems like a surefire way to diminish long-term sales. The short-term thinking that Activision has employed here has more than likely destroyed what the games could have potentially become, but at the same time, the community is more at fault than Activision themselves. They continue to buy new releases and complain about things like lag, peer-to-peer servers, and even the setting, when they've already supported the game by buying it. What it comes down to is that the next Call of Duty game isn't going to capture whatever feelings you experienced back then. Don't be fooled by Activision, because they're surely just going to use the nostalgia marketing scheme, attempting to trick you into believing that their next game is totally going back to its roots, man, and that it's going to be something really different this time, guys, when in reality, it's probably going to be nothing we haven't seen before. If this were before futuristic Call of Duty started coming out, this wouldn't be impressive at all. But it's almost like Activision knew what they were doing when they released Infinite Warfare, artificially driving people to crave an experience that is ultimately the same, just wearing a different mask. It wouldn't be too hard to believe. I mean, there was no way the same Modern Warfare type of game was going to last longer than Activision wanted in an industry where people turn to the next thing quicker than you can say exosuits. It's a pretty smart strategy, to be honest, and I didn't expect it to work so well. I thought people were going to turn it down, seeing it as nothing more than a sad attempt to appease those who had long since moved on from the Call of Duty franchise, but I was wrong. The fans came back in droves, all excited for this game that will most likely be the same as what they have already experienced, just with a different label. I mean, for Christ's sake, the game is literally called Call of Duty World War II. How much more obvious can you get? Regardless, we need to be wary of how Activision are going to market this game, and realize that it isn't going to change how we play COD in any major way. It's just an easy way of drawing people back to a decaying franchise because they think the setting is enough for them to come back to Call of Duty, when in reality, they're probably just tired of the same formula they've used for 13 games and counting. Imagine all of the cool things they might have considered adding to the game if people weren't so complacent with the original formula. Different elements of gameplay that go deeper than your own movement. Maybe even vehicles with larger scale maps to support them. Vastly different game modes that make you feel like you're a part of an actual war with explosions and revolution. Perhaps even tighten up the controls and embrace the small tight-knit arena style gameplay and build around it with weapons that actually feel and function differently from each other. Maybe work on the idea of having these loadouts and create interesting characters that are fun to listen to and play like an Overwatch in TF2. People may say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that may be true in some cases, but when a Call of Duty game comes out every year, why not take the franchise into new territory when another game will replace it not long after its release? This is why I personally found Advanced Warfare to be a great game for the franchise. Not because I enjoyed the enhanced mobility, no, it was janky and poorly implemented, but because it was the first game in the franchise's history where it decided to dip its toes in the water of change. If we're definitely going to get a new Call of Duty every year, why don't we refuse to buy the games that are the same and wait for them to dramatically change for the better? Again, what's the harm in changing the formula if different aspects of it can be removed or reworked in the next game to make it more fun? Which, thinking about it now, all of the Call of Duties of recent seem to be like an ongoing beta that spans multiple years in games, and we gladly purchase every new version without question. So what if you like Call of Duty, and you can't help but need your yearly fix? My suggestion to you is go and play one of the many other games on offer in the franchise, go back to your collection and play all of the games to see how different they really are from each other and how they feel. Ask yourself again, is the setting really going to change the impact of the game? I don't say this to insult the fanbase, but to rather guide it in making a better decision when it comes to purchasing games. The games need to start actually changing, and granted, we don't have any gameplay of the next game, so I can't definitively say that it's going to be the same. Though I do think, and there is good reason to believe, that the next game isn't going to be anything more than what we got every year back in the day, with some slightly updated graphics that honestly don't even look that great when compared to games like Battlefield. It's probably still going to use the id Tech 3 engine that was built in 1999, granted it's a heavily modified version of it, but the limitations are obvious in terms of what they can actually pull off in game. This is why the most impressive form of level resolution we got in COD was that service station that blew up in Ghosts, and why they were so proud of the fact that fish moved out of the way when you get near them. It's why the biggest change they can make to gameplay is giving you enhanced movement, because it's so easy to do and is admittedly fun for a bit until you realize it's really not that much different. The games actually need to change the actual formula if they want to stay relevant. We need to show Activision with our wallets that we're not going to take the bare minimum this time around, just resold to us in a different package. Instead of just being happy with the change in setting, how about we actually make them shit their pants by outright refusing to purchase the next game, showing them that we're more than just numbers on a computer. I mean, there are so many other better games that you can spend your hard-earned cash on. It's absolutely crucial for you to be a responsible consumer in order to make Activision think about actually changing up the games. If you think I'm against you in any way, or think that I just hate Call of Duty and want to see it die, you couldn't be any more wrong. I actually like the franchise, and I, like many others in the community, have cherished moments spent in the games of past. The difference is that I was never obsessed with the games like many others were and still are. So when I say things like be wary of the deceptive marketing schemes that Activision use, I say it as your ally as a consumer, not in any way that's supposed to offend you. Those who are blindly faithful to the series are doing more harm than good. You can complain all you want, but it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is not putting down $60 when the next game comes out, or even before by pre-ordering. Don't be the one who thinks, oh, I'm just one person, why does it matter? Because you have more power than you could ever imagine. You have the one thing that companies want most: money. It's this mindset that results in people buying new releases en masse without any remorse, and it's what makes companies like Activision pump out the same garbage every year. Support the games and companies that actually make an effort to please their player base, and don't buy the next Call of Duty game if you suspect it's just going to be the same thing being resold at full price. Activision is like an abusive husband, and we can't stop going back to them because of our shameful desire to ride that Call of Duty cock. They treat us like shit, with supply drops, peer-to-peer servers, or the lack of servers in general, using an engine built in 1999, pay-to-win weapons, dabbing. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, try and hold your desire for a new Call of Duty experience down this year. Take off your beer goggles for the World War II setting, and I know it might seem hard with how they're going to market the game, but trust me, the promises that Activision make are nothing more than an attempt to grab your cash swiftly and with ease, with little to no regard for you getting a fun and unique experience. I think we can all agree that the formula COD has been using for years is starting to become stale, and players are starting to realize that even if they don't know it yet. Even waiting up to 48 hours after the game's released can help you truly realize if you want to buy it or not, because at that point reviews are out and they can help you figure out as to whether or not the game feels the same as previous titles. This message isn't just for Call of Duty fans, but for all gamers out there that give into the hype machine and unintentionally support bad games because of it. Use the power you have as a consumer in your favor, because it only benefits you in the long run. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. I feel like it's something very important to bring up, not only for COD fans, but gamers in general. Best case scenario is, we get better games, and I'm pretty sure that's something everyone wants. Again, my name's Eden, and smash that motherfucking like button and subscribe if you're new around here, because we have cake, and we're coming! I did not, oh my god, I'm sorry, I'll never do that again.